The Trump administration is offering cash and a ticket home to anyone living here in the U.S. illegally.
He's calling it the latest strategy to ramp up deportations. DHS says self-deportation is safer and about 70% cheaper. The agency says that the process of arresting, detaining, and deporting someone can cost around $17,000. People who use the new program won't be arrested in the meantime. The new policy looks different from the deportation flights used earlier this year to bring accused migrant gang members to a prison in El Salvador. The White House is still defending that in the courts and taking harsh criticism from the left.
I don't even want to call them deportation. They are sanctioned kidnappings in many circumstances.
DHS says that at least one person has already used their new program, using the stipend to self-deport to Honduras from Chicago.
Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes joining us now to break this down. Khalif, good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to have you here. We know immigration and removing illegal or dangerous immigrants in the country has been a hard line for Trump. It's how he got into the White House twice now. And so the Trump administration is saying this self-deportation program is, quote, a dignified way to leave the U.S. and to avoid ICE. What are your thoughts on this? $1,000 is what's on the table.
It's a different approach. I can start with that. I think this is the Trump administration recognizing that there's an enormous cost to this mass deportation approach that they're attempting to do right now. And by all means, this is an alternative that I think the Biden administration started. They created this app. This app was for folks that had come to the country to find a way to get to, legalization, something by some means. And so this app was, you'd register for it, and it would walk you through the steps on how at some point you become a legalized citizen. The Trump administration came and rebranded that app, spent $200 million on rebranding it and repurposing it. And part of that rebranding and repurposing it was using this feature, which is, okay, once you're outside, so using that geo-tracking outside of the United States, 3 miles, you use facial identification, another portion they added to the app. So now in this portion, the location in the facial feature would allow you to be able to qualify to get your $1,000. You're outside the country, you snap a selfie of yourself, and then you're there. They're also saying this would be a way where you at some point may, and I emphasize may, have a legal opportunity to come back into the United States. And so this is the way they're attempting to cut down on costs, because as you mentioned in the beginning, it's $17,000 per person that you're deporting. This is $1,000. I mean, it doesn't take a mathematician to know that's a little bit different.
Yeah, it is. And I think that that's the sticking point, too, for DOJ, right? They're trying to eliminate government inefficiencies here. But does that money need to be approved by anyone else? Because when a government agency is doing these things, it costs $17,000. We don't necessarily know that. But then you're saying, hey, here's $1,000. That looks a lot differently than someone's work, right, that it takes to deport someone.
Well, you think that the money that they're talking about using, and I haven't seen anything that supports this, but I would assume that this is something that's already earmarked for these types of programs. And so now we're just reallocating. I think, and you've heard me say it a number of times, a lot of the things that the Trump administration has attempted to do are outside the scope of the executive branch. I think this is something that would fall within the scope of the executive branch. I mean, especially if you're reallocating. You're not talking about freezing or stopping funds from going somewhere. You're not talking about taking money from one program and putting it to here, but you're saying, hey, we already have these dollars that are used for immigration. It's clear that the federal government has 100% control over the federal government, so we understand that. So now the cost, where does that come from? This is something that I'm assuming they're repurposing from something else, specifically the $17,000. I mean, so maybe DOJ looked at itself and said, hey, we can cut costs on something that we already created and try to find a way. And Jason, one thing you hit on in the beginning, and I want to make sure we emphasize as well, there's 2 different buckets of folks, or maybe 3. You got folks that are coming here illegally, then you have folks that are coming here illegally and committing crimes that are violent, then you have folks that are coming here illegally that are asylum seekers. And so oftentimes we try to lump all 3 of those types of people together, and they're not. They're all distinctly different. While those folks that have come here illegally may all have got here illegally, but the reason that you're here illegally is something totally different.
If you, I guess it doesn't matter which one of those 3 camps you just mentioned that you're in, if you accept and register on this app to get the $1,000 to self-deport, does that give up any right of due process? Is that basically saying, okay, I admit I shouldn't be here? What happens with that?
I mean, if I'm playing this for the longer game and not the shorter game of getting the $1,000 and coming back, and getting out of the country, but the longer game, and if I'm advising someone, right, if they're my client, I'm saying don't participate in that program. Why? Because now your name is on some list. And so if you attempt to come back into the country, the very first thing they're going to say is, hey, weren't you here illegally 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago? Well, what about that? Why did you come here and then attempt to sneak in? Why would we think now you'll follow our rules to lawfully be here and abide by the rules of this land? And so that was the pushback from the Biden era when he even came out with the app, that they were telling people not to use the app because it would be tracking people that were here illegally. And then now they've handed it off to the Trump administration that I won't say it's doing that, but is attempting to use it. The other thing I'd say that I thought was interesting in here, they say is we will deprioritize you in the deportation process. And so if you get on this app and you tell us that you're doing meaningful steps to get out of the country, then we're not going to come after you. I'd like to see what that looks like after a few weeks of folks hitting the button and saying, I'm leaving, and then they haven't left, and see what the government decides to do in that situation.
Interesting. All right, Khalif, thank you so much. We'll check in with you for our next topic.